See, as a man, a girl like me, and you kill him. Lie, tell him that I'd rather die.
Jennifer Beals, star of movies and television, became an overnight sensation in 1983 with the release of the iconic movie Flashdance. This virtually unknown Yale student was cast in the lead as Alex Owens, an aspiring ballerina who worked in a factory by day and danced in a club at night. But after Flashdance, Jennifer did something unheard of in Hollywood. She actually went back to school, finishing her college degree, and turned down movies, practically disappearing from the pop culture landscape. She wasn't gone for long though, as this former teen model had a dream of acting, not for the fame, but for the joy of it. Whether in movies, television, or on the web, Jennifer has worked steadily over 35 years with no signs of slowing down. Jennifer Beals was born in 1963 in Chicago's South Side. Her mother was white, her dad was African American. Growing up biracial, she felt like somewhat of an outsider, not really fitting in. When she was 10, her dad died and her mother moved her and her brothers to the North Side. There, Jennifer enrolled in Francis W. Parker School, where she met Paige and Daryl Hannah, introducing her to modeling and acting. This pretty 16-year-old did some local modeling to pay for college, catching the eye of director Tony Bill, who cast her in a small role.
You're gonna die.
Ooh, you're gonna die.
Yeah, these are your need for affection lines.
And you don't.
They look like...
Tony encouraged her to pursue acting, dramatically changing the course of her life. In '82, this Chicago girl graduated high school, packed her bags and went off to Paris to make money for college.
So I'm 18, and I know that I'm going to go to college. And
you've been accepted to Yale.
I've been accepted to Yale,
which is
a
no small
huge,
feat.
Like I was so elated because it's where I really, really wanted to go. And I'm thinking, how am I going to make that money while I'm at school? I don't know how I'm going to be able to do it because I'm going to be working at school. And so that summer before, I really wanted to work as much as I could. And so I went to Paris, and I started working as a model. I got a physical letter, not an email. I got a physical letter saying that there's this movie that's kind of like Saturday Night Fever, and they want to see me, and can I come back through New York? So I went and I did the audition and the screen test in Los Angeles, and there were so many women there. And then went back home and got in my car and drove from Chicago to New Haven by myself in the car, all packed up. And was there at school for a couple weeks, I guess, maybe. And I called in to my agent, and she was like, I've been trying to get a hold of you. You've got them now to take the weekend to think about what this means, and I have to talk to my dean, and I'll call you on Monday. What? What? And so I did. I sat down with my dean and I said, this thing has happened. And he said, well, actually, a lot of people take time off to work on various projects, so that's completely possible.
Jennifer Beals' turn as a blue-collar dancer set off one of the biggest and more unexpected fads of the 80s.
There's that one image that came from the movie poster of Jennifer Beal sitting there with her arms between her legs with like the cutoff sweatshirt. It started a trend everywhere.
I had a sweatshirt that was like that. It was my favorite sweatshirt. And I washed it and I put it in the dryer at a heat that was way too high, and the head hole shrunk. So I couldn't get my head through it, and I just cut out and made a bigger hole for
I think it was a lot of things coming together. Jennifer was an extremely sympathetic character. People wanted to relate to her, being the underdog and achieving her goals. Every young girl's dream could be seen in that movie. Also, what Adrienne Lyne did, creating the first full-length music video, was something that was so exciting and beautiful to look at.
It's not just about dance. The costumes are telling you that this is a person who's an individual and will really adhere to their individuality at pretty much all costs.
It kind of captured a whole, young generation.
That year, every young girl wanted to be like the girl from Flashdance, which earned Jennifer a Golden Globe nomination and both a Juniper and Image Award for Best Actress. But Flashdance wasn't without controversy. Jennifer spoke out about using uncredited dance doubles, alienating herself from producers and the Hollywood system.
They didn't have somebody come in and double for me. They had 4 people come in and double, because if I couldn't do something, then I had one dance double. If she couldn't do it, then you had another person. If that person couldn't do it, then there was a gymnast that came in. I mean, there was a young boy who did some of the dancing. And the poor thing had to shave his legs and put on a leotard. It's very embarrassing.
After the Flashdance premiere, Jennifer returned to Yale to pursue her American Lit degree, striking up friendships with actress Jessica Tuck and Jodie Foster and boyfriend Bob Simons.
Felt like at that time in my life, I needed to go to school because I enjoyed going to school. And I was just pursuing really what gave me such deep, deep pleasure.
Summer of her junior year, Jennifer filmed a cable episode as Cinderella and trekked back to France to co-star with Sting in an adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein called The Bride.
Where did I come from?
From Brokaw, where you were found.
I want to go home.
Panned by critics and receiving a Razzie nomination for Worst Actress, Beals disappeared from all screens for several years, marrying indie director and producer Alex Rockwell in '86 and graduating from Yale in '87. Just as Beals was ready to return to the big screen in '88, a writer's strike shut the door on Hollywood, so she started a string of low-budget, indie foreign, and made-for-cable movies. She went to Europe and the Philippines to make several poorly received adventure and mystery movies, for both the large and small screen. The Madonna and the Dragon would be the final movie the great Samuel Fuller would ever direct.
Drunken bastard, he's looking for food, not for guns!
1, 2, 3.
I wasn't the least bit a virgin. I've had more than one lover. A Spanish count, a Venetian poet, an abbé. Very handsome he was, too.
The only holiday is life. No more escape, no more death, no more extinction.
We're always a target. Red Army, faction, Iraqis, you name it. At least we can put a face on this one.
It doesn't mean the others aren't out there, too.
Always an optimist.
Fuller quickly agreed to appear alongside Jennifer in Sons, a small indie movie written and directed by her husband, Alex. Beals would go on to appear in 3 more of Alex's movies, including the award-winning In the Soup and 4 Rooms, which was co-directed by friends Quentin Tarantino and Allison Anders. And, almost a decade later, 13 Moons.
Komm, tanz mit mir.
Mais oui. Bon. Bonne chance, Richie.
Take 5. Hello? Hold on one moment. Okay, you hear the clap?
Here we go.
Okay.
Making this film was really like, making a film with your friends and your family, and everybody's ready to get up and start shooting at the most bizarre hours, whether or not it's on a call sheet. I think it was the first time that I really got to play a character. I didn't have to play, the chick who looked good in a bustier or something. It was fun in that way because I got to do something totally different. I didn't have to hear myself talk. It was an amazing festival. Allison Anders was there, and Robert Rodriguez was there, and Quentin was there with Reservoir Dogs, and we were there with In the Soup. And Alex and Quentin became really good friends from that festival, and Allison became friends with everybody at that festival, and it just, these were all just people who were really excited about filmmaking.
I demand an apology. Are you saying my wife cheats on me?
There's a lot of comedy being played, but it walks a line like a lot of Alex's work. I think he explores dramatic circumstances with comedy.
Start to move in.
Speed. Now you got to come around and reveal, then you'll get Jennifer.
Push these people to the extreme so they can say really funny things.
Big Ben, Mr. Happy, Peter, Pecker, Pee-Pee, Wee-Wee, Wiener, Roto-Rooter, Snake.
Still perfect, Tim. Absolutely perfect, baby.
You have low tire pressure.
Cheating, technically, if we're separated. Look, I'm not letting go. You're gonna have to kill me, baby. What are you doing?
When not working with her husband in the States, Beals took on several crime and thriller films for the small screen. In the 1992 Blood and Concrete crime comedy, she played a suicidal, drug-addicted singer.
I want to take you somewhere. Okay.
That'll be great. Can I finish my noodles?
One girl in 5, maybe look her way. One girl in 10, maybe you give the time of day. One girl in 15, and you're cultured and polite. Oh, please and thank you, let me stay another night. But one girl in a million will be your confidant, your paramour, your partner in crime. One girl in a million, only one girl in a million is a friend for life.
By the mid-90s, Beals ended her 10-year marriage to Rockwell, as well as her virtual exclusive run in foreign and indie films, returning to studio productions, connecting with old friends, and sparking a relationship with Showtime that would last 13 years. In '95, Jennifer pursued the lead in the studio production of Devil in a Blue Dress, lobbying hard to snag the role of Daphne Monet. Drawing on her own experiences growing up biracial, she gave a memorable performance as a mysterious half-black woman who passes as white in post-World War II Los Angeles.
Damn, what does Terrell have on you, girl?
Nothing. You want the money or not?
No. No, I got 2 murders hanging over my head. Unless I give the cops a killer by tomorrow morning, I'm going to jail. Now, who killed Coretta?
I don't know.
Put the phone down. Put the phone down. Easy.
So it was Frank, wasn't it?
He had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, sure he did. I knew there was more between y'all than just some backdoor romance. He probably pimped you out to court in the first place. We going to the police. No. Come on.
No.
Yeah, why don't you scream, huh? So I can tell the police about your boyfriend, Frank Green.
Frank is my brother.
What?
Our mother is Creole. We have different fathers. Mine is white. And that's what Terrell has on me.
In the 1995 studio romantic musical, Let It Be Me, she paired up once again with Campbell Scott from Mrs. Parker and the Vicious Circle. Scott, with his smooth performances, became Jennifer's mentor and favorite acting partner.
Shooting on Mrs. Parker, the first scene that I had was with Jennifer and Campbell and Andrew, and I was so nervous being around them. And you have Jane and all these great people around, and Rebecca Miller was there, who I just thought was so smart and so extraordinary, and Lily Taylor was in the film. And so we did this scene a couple times, and we did it another time, and I went up on a line, and it felt like an eternity. Yeah,
There were a lot of them were doing improv.
But I go up on the line, Alan calls cut, I'm ready to kill myself, and he's ready to move on,
And I go into the corner, and I swear to God I'm going to have a nosebleed because I'm so sick to my stomach of what just happened. And I hear Campbell say, Alan, I'd really like to have another take. And Alan says, why? It was fine. He said, because I went up on a line and I'd really like to do it again.
So he took the bullet for you on that?
I fell in love madly for the rest of my life. That was it. I will do what Campbell Scott tells me to do.
In Showtime's controversial 1996 screen adaptation of Twilight of the Golds, a film that addressed sexual orientation and a family's struggle with acceptance, reunited Beals with Paul Collickman, who also produced Jennifer's 1992 indie film Blood and Concrete.
If I decide to have this baby, what will happen to us?
In 1997, Jennifer reunited with former screen partners for the lighthearted indie film Wishful Thinking, that wouldn't see release for another 2 years, teaming up with Drew Barrymore from her 1992 short-lived network TV series 2000 Malibu Road, and James LaGrosse from Blood and Concrete and Mrs. Parker and the Vicious Circle.
So you're the little bird. You know, I knew it. Somehow I just knew it. Well, you want to know what was going on at the theater? I was waiting for Jack so I could take him to the nearest hotel and fuck him.
Where is he? It's a simple question. I'd like a direct answer. Now, where is he?
Telling me. It just upsets me.
In 1998, Beals met and married Canadian prop master Ken Dixon, and ushered in a new phase of her acting career, primarily hooking up with projects filmed in Canada with old friends and with Showtime. While filming close to her new home in Vancouver, Beals played an aviation-wary passenger on a plane who saves the day in Turbulence 2, Fear of Flying.
Well, I think that the journey from fearfulness to courage, I think, is interesting. Especially in the confines of an action movie, because you don't have that much time to construct that. You know, if it were a different type of movie, you could go along very quietly and specifically doing that. But with an action film, it's, you know, much broader. You have to paint more boldly.
Button makes poison.
Yeah, what do you mean?
And it's a trigger, and it's connected to the cargo area. Below us? Padnami?
No!
But it's so much fun being around Craig. When I heard he was going to do it, it really opened my mind to it much more than it would if he hadn't agreed to do it.
A park warden who solves mysteries without malice.
You know what? It's true. I'm just a girl who started out by emptying trash cans in the campground, but now, in this park, I am the law, and my word is pretty good around here.
A Catholic school teacher in NBC's Nothing Sacred.
I can't live the ideal I teach, but I continue to teach it, because if somebody doesn't, that beautiful ideal will completely disappear from the world. So I teach it.
A sexy cat burglar who gets caught up in a cat and mouse game in The Spree.
We don't have enough.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. I don't want to live like my mother. And I don't want to die like my father.
A federal agent on the hunt for armed radicals in militia.
Let me ask you a question. Why didn't you just walk into the bar, whip out your gun, and blow a hole in the jukebox and scream, hey, these guys are ATF?
Yeah, well, I guess I was so busy saving your life that I just couldn't get the initials out.
A parole officer who falls for the wrong man and out of line.
Why are you doing this solo? I mean, there's a lot of badass vatos in there.
I made a big mistake, Ricky. I gotta fix it myself.
And a sexy mess in Desolation Sound.
Go ahead, take a good look.
Leave her alone, Benny.
Go to hell, Tinkerbell.
When she wasn't staying close to home, Beals was staying close to friends. In the 2001 anniversary party, she was whooping it up with Jennifer Jason Leigh from Mrs. Parker and the Vicious Circle. In Body and Soul, she was mixing it up with boxer Ray Boom Boom Mancini and director Sam Henry Cass, both from The Search for One-Eyed Jimmy. In 2002, she was having drinks with her old pal Campbell Scott in the award-winning Roger Dodger.
I think in an odd way there's a little bit of Roger in everybody. I mean, there's that moment where you feel like you know everything and you're ready to dispense advice to everyone else when in fact you're the person who needs the most help. So I think that all of us have that moment where we don't really want to look inside to see what's going on with us, and it's just so much easier to tell somebody else, what they should be doing. So I think everybody has a little bit of Roger.
Think what it would be like if on every bus there were huge pictures of your naked body, right? And think, on every billboard, magazine, that's right, it was just about your body. And there was so much time and money and energy was spent obsessing and analyzing and just trying to get a glimpse of your body that pretty soon it felt like the whole world had forgotten about everything else. And you end up feeling disconnected from your own body, like it's not even yours.
Beals continued to pair up with Showtime in A House Divided and Feast of All Saints, where she played two very different biracial women fighting to find their place in a racially divided South.
Now, there's Dixon.
They called me America because I was born free. Daughter of the late David Dixon and Julia Frances Sims Dixon up there. That's my mother.
Order.
Because I have learned what men want and the price they are willing to pay for it. I deal in flesh share. And I don't make judgments about its temptations or its weaknesses. I just know its value to the men who must have its pleasures.
After a failed TV pilot called The Big House, Jennifer played an aging pop star in VH1's musical thriller, They Shoot Divas, Don't They?
And these eyes can now see what these eyes could never see. And I can see, I can see. Stand down. I've lived so long, been through so much, when all I needed was a gentle touch. It's been so hard, but I'm still here. I never let myself give in to fear. And I can see through all the things you do. I can see through you, and I can see through all the things you do. I can see what's true. I can see through you.
I just heard. How much did they get away with?
Because she's the head of security.
3 suspects. They got away on go-karts. They hit you for $250,000.
Go-karts?
Just after filming the studio productions of Catch That Kid and Runaway Jury, Jennifer was offered a game-changer role that would not only amp up her career, but also dramatically alter her personal life. Showtime's groundbreaking series, The L Word, originally piloted under the title Earthlings, in its 6-year run, provided a never-before-seen, lesbian-centric presence on TV, and sparked a decades-long groundswell of social change in terms of same-sex parenting and marriage.
Ooh, yo, Shane, girl, what's up?
I thought it was a science fiction show. Then, like, the first page, I was like, oh, that's not science fiction.
I remember liking the title Earthlings. Isn't that nerdy of me?
We become victorious when we position ourselves to write our own history. A document to prove I exist.
I will never forget the phone call that I got from the president of the network. We're going to shoot the Earthlings pilot.
We're going to cast it with the best actresses for the roles. We want you to know you are not under any obligation to get any big stars because we just know that you're not going to. We did Queer as Folk. We couldn't get any name actors to play these parts. The minute Jennifer said yes, anybody else was obliterated.
I just was really grateful that I had found such a wonderful part, someone that was so complex to play. Well, with the L Word, when I first met with Eileen Chaikin about the role, I asked her to consider making the character biracial because, I thought it would be an interesting way to talk about race. And quite frankly, when I was a child, there was nobody on television who looked like me. And I had Spock, like that was kind of it. And I was, hoping to give somebody some other kind of representation. Maybe we...
Laurel's process was a little bit different because Jennifer was in place. It was really like getting a short list and then having, the two actors meet and see how their chemistry was.
I had both my dogs with me who are ferociously protective. I said, Laurel, there's these two dogs in here, just ignore them. They'll go lie down, everything will be fine. So she came and she totally ignored them, everything was fine.
Her dogs like me. I remember that.
And then the other woman came in and I did the same thing. I said, there are two dogs in here, blah, blah, blah. And she came in the trailer and she said, I was like, oh, Lord have mercy.
I was about to get married. I was actually very close to getting married. And we just talked about our wedding dresses.
At the center of this show was the hot and tempestuous love story of Bet and Tina, played by Beals and Laurel Holloman. Their undeniable on-screen chemistry, combined with directors and producers like Rose Trochet, who pushed the envelope, provided viewers with some of TV's steamiest love scenes ever.
The love scene in the pilot was a reshoot.
I remember having Rose Trochet count to 10 just so we could get the timing right. Which just made me laugh hysterically.
Everything was very, very specific, and cut to 6 years later, we're like, whatever.
So we do another love scene, we're going to get out the walkers.
I'm breaking up with her because she took my medication.
We'd be cheating on each other in nursing home. I took her with her. Her diaper stank.
Just a couple whom people fell in love with. I think that it has most of all to do with the two actors, the way they portrayed those characters, and the amount of love and authenticity they projected in telling those stories. I didn't know how intense the chemistry was or how intense the reaction to their chemistry would be until I broke them up at the end of season 1. Boy, did I get a lot of grief. The grocery store clerk in Brooklyn, a Middle Eastern man, passed on a message to me that really the fate of the world hung in whether or not those two characters got back together, and that I had just an immense responsibility to make this relationship work and salve over all of the ruptures.
The L Word's portrayal of the LGBT community not only educated families on gay issues, but also inspired many lesbian women to be more authentic with themselves and be proud of who they are.
One of the things that was most appealing was giving that young girl who maybe was growing up in some kind of rural community some representation of a community to which she belonged but to which she had no access. My husband was invited to a party and there was this young girl reading. On his way out, the girl gave him this letter and said, "Can you give this to your wife?" And of course, as soon as I read it, I just started crying. She was thanking me for the show and telling me how much it meant to her and how it really was a lifeline. She was emblematic of all the girls that I wanted to do the show for. And I felt so honored to have been of some help to someone.
While the end of the L Word marked the end of Beals' relationship with Showtime, it also marked a new phase for Jennifer, both professionally and personally. Her choice of characters and projects began to take on a daring, more powerful aura. Beals tapped into her inner Bet, playing strong, powerful, successful women in TV's Lie to Me, Castle, The Mob Doctor, motive, and Fox's Chicago Code as the first woman police superintendent.
Bette Porter, the character in the L Word, her sense of righteousness and her sense of self-empowerment and drive certainly helped prepare me to play Teresa Colvin.
Well, it's one strong-willed female character to another, to Teresa Colvin. Do you feel a kinship with these characters now?
Yes, I do. I do feel a kinship. I wish I were as strong as they are.
Jennifer, acting-wise, what attracted you to this role?
Oh, it's so complex. It's so interesting to play a woman who's in charge of a predominantly male, almost paramilitary force. It was interesting to me to see how she would lead. How do you get those people, predominantly men, to follow you? What does that leadership look like?
No one else has ever done. If this is going to be successful, somewhere down the track, you're going to need deniability.
And I'm also going to need accountability, because I'm not going to let us become the monsters we are chasing.
You're going to love me, you're going to hate me, you're going to need me. But what matters is, do you trust me to do what is right by you?
I trust you in as far as you respect me.
I've got your back.
Go out there and get the name of the shooter.
But I can tell you, sweetheart, there really is such a thing as too much honesty in a marriage.
What do you want? You'd rather be with someone who doesn't really know you then?
How about someone who doesn't need to know everything about me?
Playing off of Tim is very easy. It's almost like you don't have to, I feel like we don't have to even tell each other all of our backstory, because we just kind of jump in the stream and it's there, and again, we trust one another and we play off of each other with a lot of enjoyment. Hello, Rick. Welcome to the CIA. If Seamus refuses, then you will find a way through him or around him.
I did what I had to do.
On the web, Beals teamed up again with the producers of A House Divided and the Chicago Code in the Whigs production of Lauren, playing a badass army commander dealing with allegations of rape and cover-up in the middle of a war zone.
I was the only female soldier amongst 1,500 men. Do the fucking math. You are not special.
Jennifer has been amazing. I mean, first of all, I had so much respect for her coming into this. I was so excited. And then she is a true actress. She is always ready to play. She's always giving me something different with every take. And she's just there for me 100%. And it made me very conscious of, what can I bring next to the table? How can I, affect her with this line? And it just makes it really more of a game. It's not ever just reciting lines. It's, that wasn't true. Go back. Let's do this. Let's dig into this more. And, do you want another take? Let's try this. And she's just been amazing.
Well, Jennifer Beals is a friend, first of all. And she's somebody who I've known for a long time. I produced the movie she was in. And she's somebody who I admire quite a bit. Good actors will take almost any direction. Great actors will take direction and do stuff that you just can't believe.
So I walked into this bar, and before I know it, my commanding officer had pushed me down from behind.
In the movies, her roles in the studio production of The Book of Eli and the indie piece A Night for Dying Tigers were edgy and showcased Jennifer's acting chops, while reuniting her with Denzel Washington from Devil in a Blue Dress and The L Word's Lauren Lee Smith.
You worked so hard for that book. You sacrificed so much, so many men. More than you could spare.
That big scene at the end.
She did it first off camera to us, and it was one of the greatest, most intense performances that I've ever been in a room for.
I'm not gonna do any more with Jules
when I get out.
No, Jack, you do not get to say that. You fucking earned that. You fucking proved that. You don't get to just say it to make yourself feel better. It's too fucking easy. It's too fucking easy. Too fucking easy! You and your fucking... Tell me you love me.
I'm so sorry.
Shut up!
I don't want to go.
Tell me you love me.
Beals also appeared in a few made-for-TV feel-good movies, playing a lonely book editor who goes to extremes to catch the attention of her crush in My Name is Sarah. Playing a busy mom who saves Santa in The Night Before Christmas.
Because I'm definitely going to.
And playing a tough, no-nonsense gymnastics coach in Full Out.
It's about life.
Jennifer's passion project came in the shape of TNT's one-and-done series, Proof, where she played the tough, accomplished, yet emotionally tortured heart surgeon, Carolyn Tyler, in search of proof of what happens after we die.
We were looking for the actress to play Kat for quite a while, and Jennifer Beals walked into the room and she took the part and just made it her own.
I did what I thought was best to save my patient's life, and if you don't like it, you can fire me.
You absolutely believe Jennifer as a cardiothoracic surgeon, as a mother who would go to any lengths to protect her child, as the questioning, cynical scientist.
You know the trouble with just believing? It's too easy. Being skeptical without being closed-minded, that's the hard thing. She is a woman who is so capable in her job, so disciplined, and yet is deeply broken inside.
We're really lucky to have Jennifer Beals playing Carolyn Tyler, and we knew at the moment she did a scene, it was like, oh my God.
When you're in my OR, you need to get it right the first time, no questions asked, and if you can't do that, you need to get the hell off my surgical rotation.
Beals has several more indie movies in the pipeline waiting for release. She's also on board with 2 NBC series showcasing her inner vet. In The Night Shift, she's playing a badass army doctor with special forces ties, and in the new show, Taken, she's the female lead as a cultured and powerful intelligence director. Even before the L Word, Beals was an icon for the LGBT community, going back to her Flashdance days as a welder by day, dancer by night.
Hey, Bromo, do you have any Jay-Z or something not so stereotypically gay?
They're my records. They should be gay.
Playing Bet Porter not only influenced Jennifer's future roles, but also her personally. She tapped into her inner Bet and transformed her private, quiet persona to that of an activist for issues near and dear to her. In 2006, Beals was the Grand Marshal at San Francisco's Gay Pride Parade and had given many speeches in support of gay rights and the LGBT community. After filming Lauren, Beals advocated for change in the military justice system for victims of rape.
I've learned that the military and the Department of Veterans Affairs has a lot of work to do to make sure that sexual violence in the ranks ends, and that survivors get the resources and benefits they need to move forward.
Her activism does not stop there. Motherhood put environmental issues into sharp focus for her, lobbying Congress on behalf of Safer Chemicals Healthy Families to take action on environmental toxins in household products.
Together, we will send a message to Congress that the time has come for strong laws on toxic chemicals. There is nothing more important than protecting the health of our children and generations to come.
Jennifer also puts her hobby to good use to support her passion causes. Beals had been an amateur photographer since high school and often gives a photo memory book to the cast and crew on TV and movie sets. Beals made her L Word book available to fans, with proceeds going to charity. Jennifer Beals, ageless actor and activist, the former teen model from Chicago, has adorned our entertainment screens, both large and small, now well into her 4th decade.
Do you look at your career in retrospect, or do you look at it as a plan?
Oh, I'm not planned at all. Nothing is a plan. I just really try to follow my heart the best I can with the choices that I'm given and the things that excite me and challenge me.
Has your heart ever led you astray in the career?
No, but having to pay the mortgage has, but not my heart. My heart has not led me astray.
So why does she act?
On a good day, it's so satisfying. And even on a day when I don't feel like I've even come close to what the scene or the story deserves, the attempt is always satisfying, even if it's frustrating.
Jennifer has encouraged us to follow our dreams, embraced her sense of otherness, served as a lightning rod for social issues, and provided a needed voice for change. With 80 acting roles and over 35 years of acting experience under her belt, what has she learned?
Is it a rewarding time, do you think, to be an actress who has a couple of decades of work under her belt?
Well, for me, it certainly is. It's a tremendously rewarding time. And it makes me realize that no effort goes unwasted. No effort goes unwasted, really.
Who's her?
Let's see them clean up their f***ing act.
That was too short. Always too short.